root for the x. So the y-intercept, after I substituted 0 into the axis, I got 1, so 0, 1. 0, 1 is right here, this point. And then next, the x-intercept, by substituting 0 into the y, I got this equation, and I used the quadratic formula here. So b over 2 plus minus square root 4 minus AAC1, and 2 plus minus root 3. But since we're dealing with the larger side, it should be 2 plus root 3. So it must be somewhere here. And after I connect these 2 points, I get this graph. And that's the graph for y equals x squared minus 4x plus 1. Experiment number 29 was compare the graph of y equals x squared and y equals 2x squared minus 2. And first, I wanted to talk about the graph of y equals x squared. It's a graph where a parabola like this. And what the things to point out here is that first, the vertex is in the origin, and is increasing by square. So as the main increases by 1, the range increases by its square. However, in this y equals 2x squared minus 2, first of all, the vertex is not in the origin. It's in 0, negative 2 vertex. Okay, and then the width is also more narrow than this parabola. This parabola is wider, and this graph increases as one domain increases. The graph will increase by square root times 2. That's why it's more narrow, because it goes up. Because as x gets bigger, the y gets much more bigger than where this graph, the x gets bigger. It gets bigger, but not as much as this. That's why this graph is more narrow. Okay, thank you. Number 32. Graph the quadratic function's related function. So I solved this graph. This equation, I factored it, and I got x minus 2x plus 1. And that gives us the roots, which is 2, negative 1. And I put them point, and now I need to find the vertex. And to find a vertex, I completed the square and found the related function. The vertex was 1/2, here, 1/2, and negative, sorry, 9/4. And as you see here, 1/2, negative 9/4. And I connect those points, and this is the graph I get for x squared minus x minus 2. Next question, 47, was to factor this polynomial, and I factored because this way, x plus 2, because the sum of these two numbers, okay, so the sum of, so the numbers here must be the sum, the sum of these numbers must be 5, and the product of these numbers must be 6. And I figured that 2 and 3 were the only numbers, so I factored that way, and checking, I distributed, and yes, I got it correct. The next number is number 19. It was to graph this function, y equals x squared minus 4x plus 1, and to graph this function, I first completed the square, and found this related function, and I got x minus 2 squared minus 3, and this gives us the vertex 2, negative 3. So I first check the vertex 2, negative 3, and then now we have to find the y-intercept and the x-intercept. Since we cannot find it's hard to find the root for the x. So the y-intercept, after I